This is the morning brief from the Economic Times.
These days, in the middle of the COVID pandemic, all of us use online retailers like Amazon literally every second day of our lives. We seek great deals online and then buy phones, laptops, appliances, kurtas, handicrafts. I even buy my coffee beans online on Amazon. We read books on Kindle, which is an Amazon product, watch Mirzapur or Patal Lok on its streaming platform Prime Video. Some of us have started to pay our utility bills as well on Amazon Pay, while others rely on Amazon's smart virtual technology assistant Alexa to remind them of the due date. Clearly, players like Amazon have become a part of our lives. At least for me, it has. What about you? That's dangerous, says Panchajanya, a weekly Hindi mouthpiece affiliated to the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh or the RSS. Last week, it put Jeff Bezos, Amazon's chairman, on its cover, compared the technology giant's marauding, unethical ways with that of a 17th century British monopolist and plunderer, the East India Company.
RSS-linked weekly Panchajanya has hit out at e-commerce major Amazon, terming it East India Company 2.0. It also alleged that the firm paid crores of bribes for favorable government policies.
Coming up in the episode, Amazon is under attack in India from government ministers like Piyush Goyal.
हमारे देश में ई-कॉमर्स के कुछ कायदे कानून है, उस कायदे कानून के दायरे में जो भी निवेश आए उसका स्वागत है, लेकिन उस निवेश के वजह से कोई भारत के जो छोटे व्यापारी हैं, जो खुदरा व्यापार करते हैं, उनको एक अनफेयर कंपटीशन क्रिएट हो जाए.
To various investigative agencies like Enforcement Directorate, from the Competition Commission to even the Supreme Court of India.
Coming in, the Supreme Court has declined to halt antitrust probe against Amazon and Flipkart. This probe is being done by India's antitrust watchdog into allegations of anti-competitive behavior at Amazon and Flipkart and intensifying scrutiny of big tech firms.
It's been a relentless siege, from allegations of preferential treatment to select sellers to supposed violation of FDI norms. Amazon seems to have rubbed traders' associations, NGOs, RSS, sections of the media, and even sharp-elbowed rivals like Reliance and Future Group and many more the wrong way. In some cases, the attacks on them are direct and fierce, but in many, they are mischievous, malicious, and malafide. It's Tuesday, 5th of October. From the Economic Times, I'm Arijit Barman. This is the Morning Brief. Panchajanya claims Amazon is hijacking the economic freedom of small Indian traders and kirana shops, attempting to hijack policies and politics, and degrading Hindu culture and promoting Western values and Christianity through the Prime OTT platform.
This is the first time that they've talked about a core economy issue. Digital commerce has been an important pet issue of the RSS. If you look at all of Mohan Bhagwat's speeches in the recent past, he has talked about Swadeshi and Swalamban. He has made it a point to talk about self-reliance, even in his Vijayadashmi sessions, which are really important for all RSS workers. It was the first time that the Panchajanya wrote about it, but this is almost probably the 11th or 12th time that the Swadeshi Jagran Manch has attacked Amazon. And this time, apart from the cover story, you also have a story by Ashwini Mahajan, who's the convener of Swadeshi Jagran Manch. In 2019, they have already passed a national resolution saying that the country needs to have a policy that is friendly to 13 crore people engaged in retail. And their pet words are, discriminatory pricing and discounting.
That's Vasudha Venugopal, my colleague who tracks the RSS and BJP very closely for ET. Just a fortnight before the Amazon cover story, the same Panchajanya targeted Narayana Murthy, a co-founder of software firm Infosys, for botching up India's tax e-filing portal that Infosys was supposed to develop as an IT services vendor, and leveled unsubstantiated accusation that it is destabilizing the Indian economy. Charges so outlandish that even the cabinet ministers and sections of RSS had to distance themselves from the article, as did a handful of the biggest supporters of the government from corporate India like Mohandas Pai, also a fellow Infosian.
The RSS-linked weekly Panchjanya has launched a scathing attack on the software company Infosys by calling it anti-national. The weekly accused the firm of hurting India's economic interests.
I have not been hurt as much as I've been angry at this stupidity. And to have this stupid article by demented minds to say that Infosys is anti-national, fomenting society, fomenting things in society and all kind of rubbish is unbelievable that anybody can make such silly statements.
However unbelievable it may seem on the surface, several saw shadows of a hidden agenda. Infosys was only a diversion, they said in private. The real motive was to destabilize Murthy's association with Amazon. For starters, Murthy currently has no executive role in the company, but is just a large shareholder of Infosys. But through his family office, he owns 3/4 of Cloudtail, the largest seller of goods made by others on Amazon's India website, with Amazon owning the rest. And this business partnership had also pulled in Murthy's son-in-law, Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the UK's Exchequer, even before the Panchjanya piece, dragging him in an alleged 55 crore ongoing tax dispute that Cloudtail has been dealing with the local tax authorities in India since 2018.
That particular article got very interesting because as soon as it happened, Sunil Ambekar, who is supposed to be talking to the press from the RSS side, gave a quote that we are not involved in this at all and this is supposed to be connected to us. And then just the next day, Manmohan Vaidya, who's considered very close to the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat, he went to inaugurate the new office of Panchjanya and he said that this is a dharm yudh and we stand by what the Panchjanya has written. So it got very intriguing. And it was not the RSS versus RSS. The RSS has always been consistent about its position against MNCs. Swadeshi Jagran Manch has also talked about Infosys' association with Amazon, and they say that is also one reason why the company needs to be checked. More than that, if you remember in 2019, Infosys Foundation lost its FCRA license from the Home Ministry because the Sangh Parivar, when it tries to attack people, it does not separate companies from the activities of its promoters or charitable foundations.
Even though Murthy himself did not comment on the subject and Amazon decided not to participate in this podcast, the damage was done. Murthy had to cut himself loose.
Amazon has decided to discontinue its partnership in Narayana Murthy-owned Catamaran Ventures. The Preon Business Services JV was formalized between the two companies in 2014 and owns Cloudtail, one of the largest sellers of Amazon India.
This, according to most industry players, has been a body blow. Why? Cloudtail is one of the largest sellers on Amazon India and accounts for more than 15% of the e-commerce marketplace's total transactions, clocking 20,000 crores in sales in the fiscal year that ended March 31st, 2021. The future of Appareo Retail, Amazon's other big seller and a joint venture with Ashok Patni's family, is also under negotiation and its future equally uncertain. Incidentally, the Patni family also made their fortunes selling IT software. Now let's understand from our colleague Rasul Bailey, who covers retail, why these JVs are so important for Amazon.
Amazon operates a model called so-called hybrid model in the US, which is like partially it's inventory-led. They own and stock and sell their own products, multi-brand products. And partially they lend it to other independent sellers. They wanted to replicate that model in India, but Indian laws barred foreign-funded e-commerce marketplaces from selling and stocking their own products. So Amazon had to come up with this new strategy of having a joint venture which is controlled by Indians. Otherwise, just being a marketplace and taking commissions from companies is not a sexy business. It's not going to take you very far, because the actual business in India is actually retailing to the end consumers. They found a way out in the shape of Cloudtail. At one point of time, Cloudtail would constitute almost 80% of the total business on Amazon.in. Even after India amended the FDI policy for e-commerce marketplaces in 2018, which said we were going to restrict any single vendor on any platform to 25% of the total business. Obviously, both Appareo and Cloudtail had to reduce their business significantly. Even after that, both of them control more than 35% of the business on the platform.
The latest Panchajanya piece also could not have come at a worse time for Amazon. Just last week, days before the piece came out, Morning Context, a news site, reported that Amazon is probing a whistleblower complaint which alleged monies paid by the retailer have been funneled into bribes by one or more of its legal representatives in India. Amazon declined to confirm to the specific allegations mentioned in the story or the status of any investigation, but clarified it had zero tolerance for graft and that concerned official was sent on leave until further notice, indirectly, therefore confirming the development.
Now, Amazon has launched a probe after a whistleblower claimed bribes were paid to government officials in India. This, according to a report by the Morning Context. In response, Amazon has said it has zero tolerance for corruption and will investigate them fully. But Amazon did not comment.
Even then, what followed was malevolent to say the least. Sections of the media quoting unnamed government sources jumped at the opportunity and started reporting that from 2018 to 2020, that is over a 2-year period, various Amazon entities had 1.2 billion or 8,500 crores spent as legal fees. Immediately, industry groups like the Confederation of All India Traders or CAIT, which has relentlessly accused Amazon of hurting small sellers, latched onto the bandwagon and shot off a letter to the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal that such large firms are being sanctioned so that they can be spent, and I quote, to manipulate Indian government officials, unquote.
Everybody latched on the political parties, the media, everyone, as you mentioned. We did a story saying that Amazon had written to Piyush Goyal, the minister, saying that it was only 52 crore and it was an 8,500 crore, which was wrongly attributed to Amazon, which was some other companies. So 52 crore is something like, which is a logical, it could be a logical figure, like, they spend.
Amazon issued a strong rebuttal claiming this was misleading representation. In fact, Amazon Seller Services Private Limited, which is its principal marketplace in India, paid only a fraction, just 52 crores on lawyers in 2019. In all, it incurred almost 2,000 crore on account of legal and professional services, which includes everything from accounting and customer research to merchant onboarding costs and logistics services. Turned out, the media mischievously added the payments of One Amazon India Limited, a 26-year-old company that belonged to a Delhi-based realtor and had nothing to do with retailing altogether.
I think malicious is the right word. Probably the intent is to try and discredit Amazon, and not just Amazon but also other foreign market based players. The intention behind this kind of a move is probably to vacate the e-commerce based space, which is a huge business space which is available, but expertise is not their asset in the country, and the foreign market based players have utilized it. Amazon has been a major player in the last few years. In the last 7 years, it has made a huge stride in the market. So yes, it is a point which is surely indicating that it is a malicious. And once the competition is going to be eroded, what is going to happen is the next step of a thing that would come onto our mind. We have already have an example in the telecom industry, which also had the same kind of happening just in a decade space. And that is the real intent over here, to upset the apple cart which is happening, to create an imbalance so that some kind of fluctuation will happen.
That's K. Giri, the Director General of Empower India, a Delhi-based think tank. Both Reliance and Amazon is caught up in a long-drawn legal battle to acquire Future Group. Reliance, the largest offline retailer in the country and led by India's richest billionaire Mukesh Ambani, is now directly pitted against Bezos to dominate the online grocery and e-commerce business with the launch of JioMart just this summer. Reliance's app crossed 1 million downloads in a span of just 1 week in May. So, literally, it's game on.
Amazon Great Indian Festival.
इस त्योहार की शॉपिंग घर से ही होगी। नई वॉशिंग मशीन घर आएगी, त्योहार की लाइट्स घर पे आएंगी, सब घर ही तो आएगा।
जब घर घर खुलेंगे खुशियों के डिब्बे, Amazon Great Indian Festival, घर बैठे करोड़ों प्रोडक्ट्स की डिलीवरी और बियॉन्ड डिलीवरी की सुविधा। Amazon Great Indian Festival.
And why is Amazon being called on the carpet this time of the year? Any offensive before the festive season is bound to put players like Amazon in the back foot.
So it came especially at a time when they were going for the Big Billion Day and Amazon India Great India sales. So now when we spoke to sources and vendors and all they have been instructed to tone down. Remember, like some years ago, when they were screaming headlines, 70%, 90% discounts and all those. And now they are not harping much on the discount part, but even we get press releases from Amazon and Flipkart. Their narration has completely changed. Now they are focusing, we're helping SMEs, we're helping small vendors, we are enrolling this many Kirana stores on our platform. This is all about empowering. This is all about creating digital India and helping small businesses. So the narration has has changed over the months.
To be honest, in the last 8 years that it's been around in India, Amazon has actually braved many such attempts to scupper its expansion plans. For example, let's rewind to the end of 2019. A union of small traders and shop owners called Delhi Vyapar Mahasangh approached the Competition Commission seeking a probe against online marketplaces including Amazon. Bodies like CAIT joined the bogey, writing to various arms of the government to look into the complex corporate structures of these companies that they claimed were choking competition.
It is a known fact that Amazon, Flipkart and similar other companies are blatantly violating the FDI policy to 2016, which was later amended in 2018. So for a even level playing field, there has to be even policies also, which needs to be followed both in letter and spirit by the companies who are spearheading in e-commerce in India. We have seen that these Amazon and Flipkart are violating the basic fundamentals of Press Note number 2, including predatory pricing, deep discounting, loss funding, controlling inventory, and preferential sellers, which is totally prohibited under Press Note number 2.
A formal probe was launched in the year 2020. Around the same time, Jeff Bezos, Amazon's chairman, flew down to India but was snubbed by the Prime Minister, no less, who chose not to meet him despite Bezos' announcement of $1 billion investment to create 10 million jobs in India. In fact, none other than the Commerce Minister publicly sent out a tough message to Amazon.
They may have put in $1 billion, but then if they make a loss of $1 billion every year, then they jolly well have to finance that $1 billion. So it's not as if they're doing a great favor to India when they invest $1 billion.
Some felt this was India hitting out at Bezos personally.
The Washington Post has been squarely against India's Kashmir policy. They've raised questions on our democracy. Amazon, of course, owns the Washington Post. So these remarks by the BJP and its leaders come at an interesting time.
Well, make no mistake, it's very clearly political against Jeff Bezos. At a time when, as you rightly said, India is looking for foreign investment, that's not how you treat one of the most influential businessmen in the world, Jeff Bezos. When he's in your country, your Prime Minister is not meeting them. The Commerce Minister, instead of being silent about this, is making a huge noise.
While others saw sheer political opportunism or pandering to an influential and resourceful BJP vote bank. Let's ask my colleague Vasudha about the political motivation, if any, behind all this.
The ideological dimension in both the articles is also very important because in both the one against Infosys and the one against Amazon, they've talked about national interest and the company is being funded by, or pandering to anti-national interests. So that ideological thing is very important. The Bania vote, yes, of course, they're just 2.36% of the Indian population, but the Bania voter base is more than just a voter base for the BJP because, they are socially, culturally so much in line with the Sangh Parivar's understanding of what Hindutva is or what India is. Banias, even this, middle class Banias, they are also really powerful in terms of social ethos in a neighborhood. And they have been with the BJP for a long time. And they have so many associations which are also associated with the RSS. They are not people who are trying to revolt against the government. This is, even in UP, if you talk to the BJP guys about the Bania vote, they'll say that we are not very forthcoming in sort of appeasing them because wo to hamare saathi hain. We don't want to alienate the other castes because the OBC is the new destination for the BJP. But the Banias are people who employ others, so they're very powerful and they're already with us. So we want them with us. So that, I think, is also one of the political undertones of the Sangh Parivar's, attack against, this big e-commerce giants like Amazon.
As you can make out by now, the list of what e-commerce platforms, especially the foreign ones, aren't allowed to do in India has been growing for some time now. The CCI matter also has gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. But in June came yet another googly in the form of draft guidelines for e-commerce.
Now, online retailers, including representatives from Amazon and Tata, met government officials to raise concerns about the tough new rules of e-commerce announced last month that were seen as a major blow for their business models.
The wide-ranging scope going way beyond vanilla e-commerce, even targeting consumers' pocket-friendly initiatives like discounts, flash sales, country of origin, cancellation charges, data sharing, or definitions of related party transactions have not only spooked the industry, but even some of the cabinet colleagues of Mr. Piyush Goyal, the man responsible for issuing them in the first place.
The new rules aimed at tightening screws on e-commerce in India could come a cropper. A report by news agency Reuters suggests that several ministries have spoken out against the proposed rules, with even the finance ministry describing them as excessive and without economic rationale.
Fact that the MC has done it is a big mistake. It is a mistake which is not going to, affect just the foreign market-based player. It is going to affect the Indian companies also in the same way. So it is a tactical mistake, vision mistake. The end sufferer is going to be the consumer.
2-3 things. Two of them, the ministry has already been clarified. First is selling of private brands. That initially they said you cannot sell private brands on this foreign funded marketplaces, which they later clarified. And the second thing was on the issue of flash sales. Even that was also clarified, saying that, okay, there's still some clarification needed. But the biggest issue e-commerce companies had was on the related party clause, which said, like, if any entity which owns which the marketplace owner owns even 5% in that entity cannot do business with the marketplace. It's sort of like runs contrary to the press note 2, which clearly says marketplace operators can provide logistics, warehousing, call centers, payment solutions, and all those businesses, all those offerings.
In the middle of all this rhetoric, the war of words and grandstanding, it's important to figure out, where do the small and medium Indian manufacturer, the backbone of Indian manufacturing and craftsmanship, stand? Companies like Amazon claim it has enabled the smallest of the SME vendors to connect to the whole world, exporting close to $3 billion worth of goods from here, from 70,000 plus players nationwide. Really? Let's hear it from Vinod Kumar, the president of India SME Forum.
India SME Forum primarily is an organization of small and medium entrepreneurs, and we were formed in May 2011. And that's how we grew from that small, piddly number of 200 entrepreneurs to now we are 90,000 from across the country with 19 chapters. So we have chapters in all the industrialized states across the country.
Kumar says online commerce has benefited his members by opening access to new markets as well as new technologies.
What we also believe is every marketplace is a classroom for an entrepreneur. For example, you go on to a marketplace, you list your products, and then you go on and figure out exactly what is your competition doing. What is the sort of quality that does he have? What is the packaging he or she is using? What is the brand, and what is the brand recall? What sort of reviews are people talking about? What are exactly people talking about when it comes to which products they like, which they don't like? What is it that they like? What is it they hate?
During COVID, especially when everything was shut and the economy came to a standstill, several small, medium-scale industries relied extensively on e-commerce platforms for their sustenance.
During COVID, we have had situations where women, for example, we had a large group of women which said that we need to get digitally enabled because we are unable to sell from our shops, right, wherever we are. So we started with getting these people websites. We helped them engage their audiences on social media platforms. And thereafter, we had more than 600 people get on to various international websites too, apart from the marketplaces like Flipkart, Myntra, Nykaa, Amazon, and so on and so forth. We have a woman, she is basically from Surat. She was having a boutique sort of a thing. When she came to us and said, look, I don't have anybody, I am divorced, I don't know what to do, and I need to generate money because I'm not able to pay my rent for the shop. You guys need to help me. So what we did was exactly what I talked about. We helped her open a website. We helped her get online on social media. We helped her create customers. And all of a sudden, we also helped her get onto Amazon.co.uk. And she figured that she had a lot of Gujarati customers which saw her product on Amazon.co.uk, came back to her and said that, can we buy directly? Can we get something cheaper than what you are selling on Amazon.co.uk? So much so that today she has 1,200 customers from the UK only.
The list is long and wide, and the examples vary.
We have a SHG group that works with women and women artisans. We all know that Kashmir, you have a lot of shawls and all that, embroidered with various crivel, and then there is kani work and so on and so forth. And we had all these people saying, our traders who used to come to us and buy from us are no longer coming. So what do we do? So we put this group of women online. There's one of these, I think Amazon most probably has a Saheli program wherein, it's just women and they also have another program which is only for artisans. So on both these places we put it, two things have happened here. Not only were they able to sell directly to customers, But they've also been able to better their yield, because earlier what they were able to make, which was somewhere around 1200, 1400 rupees a shawl at max, starting from 400 to 800 rupees. And today, their saving from each shawl is 3000 rupees.
Now let's be clear. Amazon has to investigate the whistleblower complaint. Based on the findings, the US Securities and Exchange Commissions, or SEC, which enforces the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, or FCPA, jointly with the US Department of Justice, will have to determine if any law was broken. But unfortunately, several have already found them guilty. That has to stop. The world's second richest man is getting an almost daily reminder of how tough it is, or it will be, to win in the second most populous nation, that's India. Safeguarding the interest of consumers or mom and pop stores is how the curbs are marketed to the general public, though in reality they are about eventually putting India behind something resembling China's Great Firewall. Local tycoons would dominate the market, and while foreign players won't be completely shunned, they may only be able to join the party as junior players, supplying technology and capital. But remember, no monopoly or duopoly is good for consumers, be it a foreign or local. It's not the deep-pocketed US e-commerce giants that have devastated the neighborhood Indian retailer, but it's COVID-19. For small shopkeepers to climb out of the hole they have slipped into because of loss of revenue, they need partners who will help them go digital. Arbitrary rulemaking gets in the way. Protectionism gets one nowhere. I'm Arijit Barman, and you've been listening to The Morning Brief. Thank you, Vasudha, Mr. Giri, Mr. Kumar, and Rasul. Deeply appreciated. This episode was edited and coordinated by Nehal Chaliawala, produced by Swati Joshi, and Saundarya Jayachandran was the sound editor. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. We look forward to your feedback. Write to us at themorningbrief@thetimesgroup.com. And if you like this episode, please share on your social media handles. We'll really appreciate it. The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Friday. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day. Goodbye and good luck. All edited sound clips used in this episode belongs to their respective owners. Credits mentioned in the description.